thing on. If I have to do this intro one more time, I think I'm gonna do things that I can't mention on the podcast.
Oh, we upped our budget, so this time we have a piece of paper.
Okay. What actually happened was I had an intro in mind. That was what's on the what's on the Instagram, but it made it really sterile and really awkward.
It sounded like we were doing an intro to like a Disney Channel thing.
Yeah, because I'm also really bad at like being official. So, yeah.
Yeah, and it was like, welcome back to the podcast. I'm Shelby Whitehead. This is Dylan Carter. Your local horror show. And then I would just be like, hey, because I was just awkward and I didn't know how to add. Because I felt like, what it felt like was like a YouTube intro for like a Fortnite YouTuber that caters to 12-year-olds. But like in a nice way.
Yeah. Sorry, I about died. I need my water. You could vamp for a second.
Welcome back to the podcast.
Anyways, I have my Awala here. Some ASMR for you.
It would be so funny if you just spilled water all over the equipment.
This isn't my equipment. That would not be funny. Anyways.
No, I think it would be funny.
I don't think it would be. So some things that have been encountered since last week was we're not on Spotify. Yeah. We're not on Apple Podcasts. Because unbeknownst to me, there is another podcast with the same name. That when I Googled this over the summer to see if this was a name that was taken, they did not show up. But then I searched it on Apple Podcasts, and apparently they've been around since 2015. I'm like,
we're going to get sued.
But it's okay, because you know what that means? YouTube. So you're watching this on YouTube. And hopefully Dylan has a fun video component that you're watching. If you're not, and you're just staring at the same purple picture of a haunted house, sorry. I'm gonna do a funky visualizer for this one, hopefully, where you can see our loud ass audio forms. Yeah, but that's what's been going on this week. It was really annoying because like I went to Spotify for podcasters, and I almost lost my train of thought. I went to Spotify for podcasters, and they make you put an email on the account so you can upload stuff, right?
That was so annoying.
And so it was like, okay, so I gave them my email, and then they were like, okay, we're going to send you a link to verify your email. And I was like, okay, cool. But then it didn't send me that email, and I was like,
yeah,
okay.
So then after that, we switched it to my, like, school email or whatever, and it still didn't work, but, like, I got an email saying, your email has been changed, your password's been changed, but it wouldn't send me, like, the actual verification. So
no, on yours it sent you the verification, it just didn't work. On mine it was sending me that it had changed, but it wasn't sending anything.
That's right.
And I was just like, okay, whatever. And then I spent like $5 on this service that's supposed to put your stuff on Apple Podcasts.
Like a DistroKid for podcasts.
Didn't work. Yeah. So now I'm out $5, and we're on YouTube, so whatever, it's fine.
Yeah.
Anyway, last week was an intro demo type thing. We really didn't expect it to be 34 minutes long.
It was supposed to be like 15 minutes of us just like yapping.
It was supposed to be long enough for me to post on Instagram and be like, oh my god, look, and like hype it up for like the first actual episode. I got too carried away. So
this is more like an episode.
This is an actual episode. This week, the title that I put on Instagram and the title that is hopefully underneath this picture or video that you're watching is What Scares Us Most. And what that means we're going to be talking about is I have this book called The Book of Horror, The Anatomy of Fear in Film. It's by Matt Glasby. I cited this in my essay that I mentioned in the last episode about Texas Chainsaw Massacre. And basically what the book does is it talks about it has like a preface that has 7. I think it's 7. I'm going to try and not hit the mic with these pages. I'm pretty sure it's 7.
Isn't it like 7 parameters for like what makes something scary?
It's 1, 2. Yeah, it's 7 aspects of horror that makes it scary, and it's different things that scare you. What I want to do for this episode, because neither of us had time to look at specific movies, what we're going to do is we're going to work through these aspects, because this book also has examples, and it has a bunch of movies laid out, and the only reason that it gives you that preface with those aspects is so it like brings it up in the chapters. But what we're going to do is we're going to use that as our own little talking points. Okay. So that's what this week is about. Yeah. Sorry that it's not about one specific movie. kill me. I don't care. I don't really care.
It's been a busy week.
It's been a really busy week. I don't know what is going on, but you just do a lot of school in September. And even though I didn't have a lot of like assignments, I had 3 books I had to read.
Yeah, it's really lecture heavy because this is when they like shove in the most like stuff because like midterms come next month, and so it's just like you walk in like the first day in August and they're like, well, we're already behind, guys. Strap in. Like,
It's more like in September they're trying to set you up to be able to do the assignments that is in the rest of the semester. And so
Yeah.
it's a lot of lecturing and like instructional stuff.
yeah,
And so for like a month you're just like hearing the instructions and parameters of what you're going to be doing. It's
yeah.
my classes have just been a lot of reading.
Yeah, for like my music stuff, especially this semester, it's been like since they try to cram so much. Like, there's a we're both in choir, but like we walk in the first day and we're already behind schedule because we had a concert like a month after school starts.
Yeah,
and
we
that's,
have a concert next week.
Yeah, and then like in music theory and stuff, it also feels the same way. It's like, oh well, we have like 5 massive assignments over the semester, and let's just get started. Syllabus day was like literally lasted like the syllabus part was like 3 minutes long. It's like, okay, guys, you guys know how to read a syllabus, right? Okay, chords, and then he just like went right into it.
You know what's crazy about that? I have a class that's 3 hours long on Tuesdays, and you would think that we would spend less time than that on the syllabus, but our first meeting was all the syllabus. We read the syllabus, went through it, and then watched an example of the video essay, because it's a video essay class, for 3 hours, from
That's
4 to 7.
insane.
Anyways, this week, so I'm going to go ahead and get started. I'm trying to not bonk the mic. I'm going to go ahead and get started. That's a very long intro. Once again, GarageBand isn't telling us the time. It's
showing us like the measures and beats. Of
yeah,
how,
so I don't know how long 208 measures is at 120. I'm pretty sure I said the exact same thing in the last episode, but whatever. So this book has an introduction. I'm going to skip it. The 7 tactics are, number 1, dead space. I'm not going to read this whole paragraph that it has,
summarize it, English major.
but in summary, I'm so smart. It says, this refers to 2 related aspects of cinematography, negative space and positive space. Negative space is when there is too much room around the subject of a shot. So basically, it's talking about when there is a shot. I hit the mic. A shot, and like half of it has the person, but there's empty space. That's like scary because we're waiting for that space to be filled. Okay, does that
Right.
make sense? Like
Yeah.
that's the quick. And then I'm just gonna run through all of these, and then we can go back to them. How's that sound?
Sound good to me.
That way, I'm giving you a little like, I don't know, table of contents. I guess I don't know. Number 2 is the subliminal. It says, this refers to visual and oral cues that we do not necessarily notice. The big one that this paragraph talks about is soundtracks, which is great because we have a music comp major as my co-host.
Real.
But also, we have another episode in the future all about soundtracks, so we're really going to be talking about the subliminal. But the subliminal isn't only the audio, it's also flashes of something.
Like
Or-
visual stuff too, right?
Yeah, or like really subtle things. But the biggest aspect that it gives is sound because, duh.
Like the Babadook.
Yeah, a lot of sound. The third one is the unexpected. It's the most obvious. It says, this refers to many ways horror films seek to surprise us, from jump scares to plot twists. Everyone that knows what a horror movie is knows what a jump scare is.
Yeah.
If you don't know what a jump scare is, boo!
Ah!
That's a jump scare, basically.
Yeah.
Like, I can't really do a jump scare on audio, but like me just randomly going, bah!
Oh, I can do one. I can do one.
Is a jump scare. It startles you, you know?
Yeah.
Number 4 is the grotesque. It says, this refers to corporeal horrors, from creature effects to broken bodies. This is what this paragraph is talking about, is like body horror type stuff and like gore, nasty stuff. It's gonna make us uncomfortable, you know.
Right.
The 5th one is dread, which is one of my favorite ones that scares me the most.
The next one is high fade. I'm just kidding.
Okay.
Sorry.
It says, this refers to the feeling of foreboding when we know something terrifying is on the way. It is also perhaps the horror film's major currency. I like to think of, when I think of dread, the one quote that everyone knows from Alfred Hitchcock. Do you know what I'm going to talk about?
No, I actually don't.
well, every film major knows it. Sorry. I'm not even a film major and I know it. Whatever.
Bruh.
He basically says, imagine you're watching a movie and there's a table and they're sitting at a table and then a bomb goes off.
Right.
It scares you, but it's like, ah, and then it's over.
Mm-hmm.
Now imagine if you knew that there was a bomb under the table and it was going to go off in 5 minutes. It's a lot scarier, right?
Right.
Because you have this sort of like impending doom. That's like that's how a lot of people describe suspense, dread, doom, stuff like that. Existential dread is a big thing. I think it's really scary. Whatever. And then number 6 is the uncanny. This is another one that a lot of movies, especially PG-13 ones, do because the easiest thing to do is just make a monster movie. It says, refers to the sense that something is not quite right and is perhaps the hardest scare tactic to pin down. The uncanny valley.
Yeah.
It's literally what it is. Like, the word uncanny is in it. And then the last one is the unstoppable. This refers to the sense that the traumas we are experiencing will never end. Most horror films feature narratives that spiral out of control and then refuse to resolve themselves, but some take it to another level. Any movie where there's not a survivor.
Yeah.
Any movie where there's just constant negativity. Like,
Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
that's literally what is in this book. It says, when Marilyn Burns jumps through a window twice only to end up back in the same unceasing nightmare.
So it's like the scene where they're at like the dinner table or whatever, like that.
It's just the general principle of like, it keeps going.
Okay.
Like you're expecting a relief at some point, but it just keeps going. So what we're going to do is we're going to go back to, we're going to work through these chapters, even though I just gave you a little definition. We're going to go through these chapters, or these aspects, okay? We're going to start with dead space. Do you remember the definition of dead space?
I do.
It's when there's like empty spots. The example that the book gave was Blair Witch Project. Have you seen the Blair Witch Project?
No, but I think we were gonna watch it.
It's really scary. I think it's like, sorry, I had a hiccup. I think it's really scary. A lot of people are like, it's not actually that scary. But I think it's really scary. ASMR. Anyways.
Look how loud that is, bro. Oh wait, no, the compressor got it. You want me to yap?
Mhm.
Okay. I don't know what the Blair Witch Project is.
Dead Space.
Dead Space. Like the video game.
Okay. This is really awkward, Dylan, because you're not.
Well, I don't know like any specific examples I can give.
This book gives examples of ghosts. A lot of supernatural movies are going to use this because, you know how like when there's a movie and there's like a tracking shot and you're expecting something to come out of it?
Yeah.
That's why there's dead space. I don't really like it as much because it really just like, to me, it feels cheap. I don't really know. I just hate being, I appreciate a good fake out. I'm like, that's really smart. But if that's all that your movie's doing, I'm like, bruh, I'm not stupid.
Yeah.
I'm going to realize I'm not going to get scared.
I'm guessing it gets to the point where it's like a cliche.
Well, all of these are kind of cliches, but like, I don't know. I also don't really like paranormal stuff as we mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
So like The Conjuring uses it a lot. Is it The Conjuring 1 or 2? The one with the... That clap was really loud. But when they're playing the clap game and she's like holding the candle and you hear...
I think it might be the second one.
Well, that is dead space because there's so much empty space around her. You're subconsciously waiting for something to come out of it because why else are we staring at it for so long?
Right.
You know, it's like, why is it quiet for so long? Something has to happen.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't really have a lot to say about that one because I don't really like that tactic that much. And obviously, Dylan also doesn't really have a lot to say about it.
I don't.
Yeah, that's really awkward. Okay. The subliminal. Going back to this one, talking about soundtracks, talking about music, talking about in The Exorcist when Pazuzu's face is like barely shown for a second.
Yeah.
Yeah. That movie scared
This is also like for sound design too, right? Not just score.
Yeah, it's like score, sound design. It's.
Now I have something finally I had like
Yeah.
talk
Like-
in depth about. Bro.
Wait, I have a quote.
Oh.
It may be far from subtle, but Goblin's extraordinary score for Suspiria features heavy breathing and chanting to evoke an undercurrent of pervasive evil. These scores sound the way that they do for a reason. There's not just a, like, talk about scores while I pull up some examples.
Oh, I wasn't going to talk about scores just yet. I'm saving a lot of what I have to say for, like, my episode. But as for, like, sound design, like, that little, like, staticky sound in the Babadook as you, like, and it, like, starts getting louder as
The
He-
Babadook is showing up.
as he's, like, pulling up is, like, that's probably the scariest part of the movie for me, is that aspect of it. Because every time those, like, staticky sounds would come up, I'd be like, oh, God, oh, God. But I don't know. I just think it sounds really cool.
Like, there's a reason why the Five Nights at Freddy's is making a comeback. Five Nights at Freddy's soundtrack sounds like this. Right. There's a reason why it sounds all synthy and weird and kind of like arcade music, because it is a pizzeria. There's a reason why The Witch sounds like colonial music with a bunch of and like chanting. There's a reason why there's random mystic flutes playing in Midsommar. There's a reason for these decisions.
Yeah, and a lot of, like, soundtracks, since there's always, like, a feeling of unease or, like, you know, that kind of thing, they use a lot of dissonance in the music
Dissonance.
to portray that.
The key word.
Yeah,
That's your vocab.
That's your vocab for-
vocabulary word.
yeah.
You can do a vocabulary test.
At the end of the podcast, we're going to send out forms to each one of you, and if you don't fill it out, we're going to come to your house and rip all your gutters off.
Yeah.
Because I can't say the other thing I was going to say.
Oh, okay.
I'm just kidding.
There's a lot of movies that have bad sound design that I don't really care for.
Care to give an example?
I can't think of one right now.
Oh.
Let me think. I know good sound design is A Quiet Place,
Yeah.
obviously.
Because it's like, I mean, in the name it says The Quiet Place, but it's like use of, like, minimalist stuff.
If your plot revolves around the fact that there's not going to be any dialogue or any sound, and you have to be really quiet, you got to make it sound.
Yeah.
You got to make it sound cool. How am I like? It's not a silent movie.
Yeah, because this is gonna sound really nerdy and kind of out there, but, like, I guess if you, like, watched, like, the waveform of the movie next to, like, the action of the plot, because, like, the movie is kind of, like, quiet for, like, the first 3/4 of it, and the plot is also not really moving too fast. But once you get to the scene where she's, like, giving birth in the bathtub and things start to get loud and she's screaming, and then John Krasinski's character is also screaming, is, like, the most sound happens at, like, the most eventful part of the movie, and I think it's just, like, a very good use of sound. I know it's kind of, like, right on the nose. I just think it's really cool.
Yeah, I think A Quiet Place is a great example to talk about sound design. But I also think there's a movie called Hush. That movie is so good. Do you know what that movie is?
I do not.
It's about a deaf-mute woman that has a home invasion.
Mhm.
And it switches from our perspective as audience hearing to her. And instead of it just being, like, silent and, like that, it's,
Mhm.
like, kind of foggy. You can hear pressure. It just sounds like your ears are filled with water is what it makes it sound like. And it's really cool. But not a lot of movies mess with sound in that way.
Mhm.
I guess not really bad sound design. It's more like boring, because I think sound can, like, really affect a movie. Obviously, it's like in this book, there's
Yeah.
a reason soundtracks are such a big deal.
Yeah, and I do want to talk a lot about what I have to say, but I'm trying to save it.
Yeah, I'm trying to rein it in a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay, the next one is The Unexpected. We kind of just talked about jump scares, but we're going to talk about jump scares too, like, again, because The Unexpected is not just jump scares, it's also plot twists. And I myself, when I don't expect it, love a good plot twist. Where is the remote for the fan? There's a fan in here, and I'm, like, really cold now. And
I stuck it back on the wall.
Okay, can you talk about
Jump scares?
jump scares and plot twists?
Okay, so the one that absolutely scared the shit out of me was in Sinister, like the movie with Ethan Hawke, and I don't know who else is in it. I forgot.
She's an English actress.
Yeah, I don't know who she is.
I can't remember her name either.
But like, Shelby made me watch that movie a few months ago.
It's a good movie.
And she was like, "Oh, dude, there's a jump scare in here that's like, there's like papers written about how scary this one jump scare is." And I was like, "Okay."
Sinister's also like apparently scientifically the scariest movie because the sound design. That movie has great sound design. Like the Super 8 films have really cool sound, and I could like, I'm not gonna go into sound design, do sound design, but those people that made the sound design for Sinister, I want to give them a big fat hug. They're so cool.
But the scene I'm talking about is the
It's one of the Super 8 films.
Yeah.
It's 77 yard work. I think that's what it's called.
Yeah. But like he's watching that on his tape in like this attic, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like a lawnmower going across a thing, and then like I added like you're like, okay, it's just kind of sitting there, and then he just like runs over somebody in a body bag, and I was just like, oh my, it like scared the hell out of me.
And like also talking about sound, I'm gonna try and find this sound so you can hear it. The sound that comes out of I do not know what is making this sound. I don't know if it's diegetic. I don't know what it is, but it's just like it's cray. You should vamp some more about this while I'm trying to find it.
I don't think I ended up finishing the movie because it was so scary, but
Wait, I found it.
Are you talking about?
I don't know what.
Are you talking about like the little like ambience under it, or the?
I'm talking about the. I don't know what made that sound because it mimics the sound of the film like ending, but it also sounds like a scream. But also that cannot be like a human scream.
I cannot.
It sounds like a literal demon from hell. Like what is that? That's so scary. Some movies do really bad jump scares, but I think that. Talking about sound still. Sorry, I know we're gonna stop talking about sound at some point. I'm sorry, but
no. And my that episode's just gonna be like,
yeah. If you pair really good sound design with clever jump scares, I think that makes them a lot scarier. But if your sound design is a dun like a jump scare with a musical sting, I'm gonna be like, okay, that's
just I don't even watch.
So boring.
I don't watch that many horror movies, and that's just like a very typical thing.
Oh, it's so boring. Let me look at the examples for the unexpected that this book gives. I feel like we're completely ignoring the plot twist aspect of this. On a subtler register, narrative about turns, such as the killing of Charlie in Hereditary, break an unspoken pact with the audience, suggesting that the world of the film is random, unhinged, and not to be trusted, making us fear what comes next. Like I said, I love me a good plot twist. When I saw Hereditary for the first time, my jaw was, huh? I was, huh? Because I was like, they did not just, spoilers, if you haven't seen Hereditary, they just lopped off half of this kid's head on a light pole.
Yeah.
What? All because she had an allergic reaction. What? What is happening to the world? Why are we killing, what is her name? Mom, it's like Molly something. I don't remember her name. But yeah. I love Charlie in Hereditary, but I like a lot of crime shows, and I like a lot of crime movies. I gotta do it again.
Are you talking like NCIS or like?
Yeah, and I'm also talking like the like unexpected things can be like whodunits, like Scream, and Valentine. All those like slasher whodunit things that came out after Scream. I feel like that's also what this book is talking about, because it's unexpected. But that's kind of like you know that there's a mystery. It's more so like the reveal, or like I said, plot twists. Any M. Night Shyamalan movie.
Huh?
Any M. Night Shyamalan movie.
Avatar.
That it.
I'm just kidding.
Okay. I didn't know if you were joking or not. I genuinely did not know if you were joking or not.
No, I mean like that shitty Last Airbender movie. He did that, right?
I don't.
Look it up.
I don't know.
Do you know what I'm talking about, though?
I know what you're talking about. I don't know how to spell his name.
No,
That
I'm
sounded
dyslexic.
very...
I'm dyslexic. I don't know.
No, he did not do that.
Then what am I thinking of?
I don't know, but he did The Happening, After Earth, Old. I'm looking right at it, dude.
Oh, really?
He did Old, Praying with Anger, Split, The Sixth Sense, The Village, The Visit, Signs, all that stuff. Yeah. Speaking of The Visit, I don't like the twist in The Visit.
What is the twist in The Visit? I haven't seen it.
Okay, so The Visit is this found footage movie where these two kids go to spend the summer with their grandparents because their mom, played by Katherine Hahn, who's really hot.
That's so real. She was in WandaVision. And...
Yeah, I think she plays her mom. Yeah, she plays her mom, I'm pretty sure. Watch me be entirely wrong. I don't care enough to look it up. But
we're gonna get fact checked after this.
Whatever.
He did do The Last Airbender.
Oh,
Look.
oops. It's not.
You just got fact checked. How does that make you feel? Look.
Anyways, can I finish my thought about
No,
The Visit?
I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
Anyways, they go to live with their grandparents while their mom's on a cruise for work. And their grandparents are kind of weird. Pop-up shitting in the cabin.
Oh, is this
Granny's trying to put them in the fucking oven.
We watched this one together, right?
No, we didn't.
No, this is the one where Granny was like chasing them under the house while naked or something.
Yeah, we haven't watched The Visit in a while.
In a while.
Or I haven't watched it in a while.
We watched it over the summer.
But yeah, it's The Visit. It's that movie. And...
Oh, can I talk about the twist? Is that okay?
Do you remember the twist?
I do remember the twist. It's all coming back to me. I forgot that we watched this one. So the two kids are like calling their parents, right? Or the mom. And they realize that like it was on a FaceTime, right?
Yeah.
And then they show the grandparents, and then the mom is just like, wait, who are those people? And then you're just like, oh. And then it's just like, that was a really good plot twist, and I really enjoyed it.
I don't like it.
Why?
Because there's like two plot twists. The reveal of it not actually being their grandparents, fine, whatever, it's cool.
Right.
But the second reveal of the fact that they're not actually crazy, or no, they are actually crazy, and they're just like insane. That's kind of boring. I really would have wished that they had like made them be these conniving old people that are like playing a trick on. It would have been so much funnier if they were all just fucking with them. But no, scary, crazy people.
Yeah.
Like it's.
But I really I like the first twist a lot.
The first twist is cool, but the second one.
Because I was just like.
I could do without it.
I was just like, okay, this is kind of like static feeling. Like, okay, their parents are like, or their grandparents are like, kind of weird, walking around naked, sleepwalking.
Classic grandma.
Yeah.
I was really close to the mic.
Yeah, look how loud it got. But I was like, okay, this is like not boring, but just kind of like slow moving. And then that happened. And I was like, oh shit.
Yeah. Do you have anything you want to say about the unexpected before we move on?
No, you're good.
Okay. The next one is the grotesque, like we talked about, body horror. I really like body horror. I think it's really cool. The examples that this book gives. Though far from politically correct, horror villains are often diseased, as in Wreck, or disfigured, as in Baskin, which sends signals to our brains that something is awry. Equally, watching people in pain, as in Martyrs, brings back memories of our own suffering and makes us feel vulnerable. Basically, watching other people suffer triggers a part of our brain that makes us think we're in danger, and then like the Saw movies.
Yeah.
The entirety of the Saw movies is this aspect. Like, why don't you talk about Saw movies and how gross they are?
Yeah.
Well, I turn this fan down even more.
Another like one that's like grotesque. Sorry, I got distracted. Shelby was messing with
It's really loud whenever I try to turn the fan down.
That scene in Hereditary where what's their face keeps Annie like is stabbing herself, gets possessed and stabs herself in the neck.
Where she's slicing her head off with piano wire.
Yeah, and that. Okay, I haven't seen it in a while, but that is one of my favorite examples of it. Because after that, for days, I was just like, oh.
Yeah, I think any time that you watch a movie and you're like cringing or want to throw up or something like that is what this book is talking about.
I have another one.
What?
It's not as scary of an example, but going back to Quiet Place, where Emily Blunt's character is walking down the stairs, and there's like an exposed nail.
And she steps on the nail.
Yeah,
I feel like that's more of suspense than like grotesque.
Yeah, but also like that's just one.
But also, it's really gross.
It's really gross to me where she's.
Yeah, I feel like another example is like in that movie Ready or Not, Grace, the wife, she goes through all this fighting with the family, and the family's trying to kill her. And by the end of it, she's so like bloody from not her blood. Well, some of it's her blood, but like the other family's blood. Her hair's all matted. Her wedding dress is ripped to shreds. Her hand has a hole in it. Her back is ripped open. Like, she's screaming like a wild animal. Like, that's kind of the grotesque part, too, is like she's beyond recognition. But she's still alive. I feel like this book is maybe talking about when they're not gonna live. Like I said, the Saw movies, or the only movie to ever make me throw up, The Green Inferno, by Mr. Eli Roth.
What happens in that? I haven't seen
There's
it.
people shitting and you watching it and hearing it. There's people eating each other. There's people taking a clay bowl, smashing it and ripping their neck open with it. There's people eating each other alive. There's ants crawling over for someone's eyes.
I can't do eye stuff.
It's crazy.
Any movie where there's anything involving putting stuff in eye, ripping eyes out, Shelby knows. Her sister wants to be
an eye doctor.
An eye doctor. I was trying to think of the proper word, like optometrist, something like that. But she'll like show like examples in the book of like a I don't know, just like eye conditions, and I'll just be like ugh, every 5 seconds.
Well, then I would hate for you to see the movie Zombie 2, where there is a well-known sequence that kind of fits into the grotesque, where it's a zombie that has a girl by her head, and he's just slowly pulling her towards a wooden spike that's sticking out. And it stays there. It's so long. And it's just pushing her towards this spike. And then you watch as it just slowly goes in her eye and out the back of her head. It makes me want to throw up.
That's
vile. It's so painful to watch. And she's screaming and she's crying, and then it hits her eye and she's still crying.
That's vile, bro.
And it's just like, and there's like shots from her perspective of the spike getting closer and closer, and it's really freaky. But yeah, don't watch The Green Inferno by Eli Roth. There's also literally okay, this is gonna get really gross for a second. There's a plot line in that movie about genital mutilation, and so
Maxine moment.
In one scene, the like tribe that has captured them literally sticks like a knife up this one girl's lady bits, and then she is bleeding, obviously, and then she's just dealt with that for the rest of the movie. I don't remember how it ends because I watched it once and I did throw up watching it, but I had to pressure myself. I pushed myself to finish it. I was like, "You're strong enough. You can do it,
dude." How did we forget about like I mentioned it in like an offhanded comment, but like Maxine, the scene where she's like,
I don't really think that's the grotesque.
I think it's pretty gross.
I think that's just like violence. That's not really like, because what this book is defining as the grotesque is like something beyond recognition. Or or like torture.
That dude's.
She steps on a dick with her high heels.
Yeah, that dude's dick and balls is beyond recognition.
And it's just like.
But I thought that was grotesque. Maybe I'm just a baby, but I saw that and I literally flinched.
I think it's gross, but I don't think it's the same that this is talking about. I think what this is talking about is like, I don't know. In Saw.
Yeah.
When they're ripping each other apart. In The Green Inferno, when they're ripping each other apart because, oh, they put the weed in the dead girl's mouth, and so they ate the weed, and now the tribal members have the munchies, so they're ripping each other open.
That is crazy.
It's a crazy movie. He literally says, and I quote, "Oh my God, they got the munchies," while they're eating him alive.
That's crazy.
It's got Daryl Saba in it, though. I think that's his name. Daryl something. The guy that's married to Meghan Trainor. That guy. It's got him in it. He's the one that has the titular munchies line. That's the titular Green Inferno. Is the weed that's in that movie.
That's funny.
Anyways, Yeah, sometimes I feel really weird because I really like body horror. I think it's really cool. I think it's because
Not in like a
not in like a, oh my god, that's like, I am happy that these people are getting ripped apart.
not in like a padded room way, right?
No, it's in the sense of like, wow, this is really cool effects. That's really cool that they're able to do this. And also just like sometimes it's fun to be like, yeah, that's so cool.
Yeah.
You know, like, because there are people that their whole job is to just make fake guts. I'm going to be like, well, that's so cool.
What's that show?
Face Off.
Face Off.
I
Where they
used-
make like the prosthetic makeup and
I
stuff.
love that show. It's like a competitive SFX show. Don't know why they ever canceled it, but whatever. The next one, oh, the grotesque also mentions aliens. Literally just aliens in general.
Nope.
That is an alien.
I know. I'm saying nope. I'm giving that as an example.
Yeah, what about it?
I just think it's cool. I don't know.
Yeah, it's a good movie.
Because it's like this weird, like, biological UFO thing.
It looks like a flower. It's modeled after a type of flower. Jean jacket, when it, like, unfurls. Yeah, it's modeled after a type of flower.
Yeah, I just thought it looked like a...
I don't really think that that's supposed to be gross. I think it's supposed to be pretty.
I said
it is really pretty.
It said alien in general, though, right?
Yeah, it says aliens, but also this book is from...
Because Nope was released in 2022, I think, right?
There's no paper saying when this book was released. Wait.
It has to. It's right.
Wait. 2020. It was in the back.
Hmm.
Sorry. I don't know why it was in the back. That's kind of odd, but whatever. Yeah. I really like alien movies, personally. But anyway. The next one is Dread, as we talked about. It's the horror film's major currency. God,
Sound it
that
out.
intonation was really weird in the way I was saying it. I ended up accidentally saying it like film majors, like film students.
Yeah.
So I was saying it weird. Yeah, an example that this gives is the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. The name having the word massacre in it makes us fear the massacre we are assuredly about to see. Yeah. Or like in Ring, when it has a 7-day countdown. I love Ring. Ring.
Would another example be like the last scene, like 15 minutes from Insidious, where it's just like he's in the dream sequence and he just keeps going like insane?
Yeah, because it's like a loop. I think another thing that's important to know about it is something that they're mentioning a lot is like a time. They mentioned it one time. is a time limit. So like, you know how a lot of like fantasy movies or something, like the example I'm thinking of is Coco. You have until sunrise to do this. That type of thing.
Yeah.
Like that sort of like principle is what's making these so dreadful. Like in The Ring, 7 days. Girl, you're watching that movie and you're like, it's 7th day. What's gonna happen?
I have a confession to make about Rings.
What is it?
I've only seen the crappy remake from like...
Are you calling the American remake crappy?
No. We had this conversation before. I'm talking about the one from like 2017.
Oh.
The one that has like a 7 on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah, that one sucks. But the one with Naomi Campbell, that one's really good. Look, I don't think that every Eastern movie needs to be remade for a Western audience. However, The Ring is so good.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that that's because it stays really true to the source material. Because if you watch that movie without making it like a ripoff, because like if you watch both movies, they're pretty similar, but they have enough noticeable differences in like the tone, the look, the things that happen that you can like somewhat differentiate them. Because if you watch the original Ring, it's not nearly as like green. If you watch The Ring with Naomi Campbell from I think it's 2004, you're gonna be just looking at a green movie. That movie's so green, like greener than.
Is the color grading just like?
The color grading is everything's like a greenish bluish color, and it's just I think it's because it's really rainy in that movie all the time, but it just makes that movie really good for when it's raining, but it's also really scary because it's all green and it's like, huh?
Yeah.
But yeah, Dread. I really like I said, I like existential horror. Like, what is an example? Annihilation. The fear that you're just like not gonna be you. Like, you're not even gonna die. You're gonna have, like, your soul, your DNA absorbed into this bear that's then gonna scream with your voice, and your face is gonna be on the underside of its head. Like, it's freaky.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just me, though. Maybe like, fate's worse than death, that idea. That really scares me. I don't really have a lot to say about Dread.
Yeah.
If you can't tell. Because I just, like...
Like, the only one I could really think of was, like, that scene in Insidious where...
Because it's really hard to elaborate on it, because it's just like, yeah, Dread. On a technical level, Dread can be harnessed by reoccurring motifs, such as the thudding sound that prefigures the entity's assaults, the long, slow pans that make us fear what will be revealed in It Follows, and the point-of-view shots in Halloween that suggest the camera is stalking its prey. That is a good point. If you're conditioning your audience that this shot means this is going to happen, or this music sting means this is going to happen, or this theme is going to mean that this happens, and then it doesn't happen, that's so scary.
Yeah.
If you've conditioned me to believe that every time that the camera is in a split diopter that there's going to be a jump scare, and then you have a split diopter and then there's not one, I'm going to be like, wait, but when's it going to happen?
Right.
That's like how you're so, like, the jump scare in The Exorcist 3, when you're just trained on that one shot for so long, and you're just like, okay, why am I watching this random corner in a hospital for so long? Like, something's going to happen, and then something does happen, and then it's really scary.
She's, like, facing away from the mic, and I was trying to tell her to face closer to it. It's okay.
I'm sure you can still hear me.
Yeah, I was just like, I saw that your voice was, like, showing up on my microphone, so I was just like, you should probably face the other way.
Oh, it's fine.
It's fine.
It's fine. Okay, let's look at the next one. I'm trying to not hit the mic. I think I just did anyway. It's okay. Okay, whatevers. Plural, whatever.
Here.
Okay, the next one is the uncanny, which is one that is just like monster movies.
There's a lot to say there.
It says, this refers to the sense that something is not quite right, perhaps the hardest scare tactic to pin down. The uncanny has its roots in Freud's 1919 essay, some German word, and refers to the unsettling feeling of experiencing something strangely familiar or something strange, like the imagery of a nightmare. Examples that it gives, It Chapter 2, the motions of the Sadako and Ring, the way Hereditary moves from miniature scale models without cutting to actual rooms without cutting. Basically, it's just like the Uncanny Valley, like we said.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what it is with horror movies and naked ladies, like old naked ladies.
Like,
what is the point? Why are we doing that so much? I get it. It's like, woo, it's freaky. But at a certain point, it's like, okay, it's just a naked old lady that has saggy titties. I'm confused what I'm supposed to be scared about. Like, what?
Like that one scene from, why am I blanking? The movie we just talked about with Catherine Hahn and the grandchildren.
The Visit.
The Visit.
But that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about like
specifically
when when it's an exaggerated older lady, like the It Chapter 2, or like, have you seen Barbarian?
I have not.
When it's like very obviously a not real woman, and it's like a man in makeup, and it's like a comedically skinny, lanky old woman. It's like, what is the point?
Yeah.
I think that aliens can also fall under the uncanny, because a lot of alien movies, it's like The Thing, when they're like just slightly
off.
Yeah, or like, what is that movie? What is the movie I'm thinking of? Oh my god.
Take your time, buddy.
My brain isn't working.
Take your time, buddy.
What is my... Whatever. I lost it. Leatherface's mask. That's kind of uncanny, because you can't really tell what it is. I mean, you can. It's like a person, but it's like a little bit weird that he's wearing a mask, right?
Yeah.
Let's do our dose of ASMR.
God, not again.
I think it's really funny to do that every time I have to take a sip.
I like how the compressor fixes it in real time because it goes all the way up and down.
It's really funny. I don't know what that means, but
Loud sound quieter, basically.
anyways, what was I saying? Oh, the uncanny.
Yeah.
Just a lot of monster movies. A lot of, I guess, just a lot of monster movies. Like Bill Skarsgård in It.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's like uncanny because he kind of looks like a person, kind of doesn't. I don't know if that's an insult to Bill Skarsgård. Bill Skarsgård's very pretty out of makeup, but inside makeup, he just like doesn't look like a real person.
Mm-hmm.
But even though there's not that many makeup, but it's whatever. You get what I'm saying. Uncanny. What is another example? Ooh, Invasion of the Body Snatchers. I just pulled from like 1954. That's a movie. That's like an old school sci-fi movie. Basically, it's where these plants are coming to Earth and they have alien pods in the plants. And the aliens take over the bodies of real people while they're sleeping, and so they're like copies. I feel like that's kind of uncanny, especially in the remake, because in the remake with Donald Sutherland, there's this scene at the end where he makes this really weird sound because it's like you think that he's okay, and so this girl runs up to him and is like, "Oh my god," and he just like signals to the other aliens that she's there and they can get her, but he makes this really weird sound, and it makes me actually so uncomfortable. So no, I'm not gonna play it because it's like it's like the Sinister sound times 100 in terms of how uneasy it makes me.
Is this the one? Is this the one in the remake or the one?
Yeah, I'm gonna find it anyway.
Okay. That means I get to yap for a second.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, we gotta. In this take, did I do the piece of paper bit? I forgot.
I think you did. Yeah.
Hey, we got a new piece of paper with our new budget.
Sorry, that's sad.
Look how loud that is.
Oh. Yeah, this is loud.
If you're listening to this, go hug your mom.
If you're listening to this, I like your shoes. If you're not wearing shoes, put them on.
If you're not wearing Crocs right now, what are you doing?
I can't find it.
Shout out to all my Canadians out there.
I think I have it.
Sounds like that fucking SpongeBob intro. Oh.
That's how the movie ends. Like, that's literally how the movie ends.
Not gonna lie, I was expecting it, like, the actual, like, volume of your phone to be quieter. So, like...
No, I turned it up.
Bruh.
It's scary. I'm a proud believer in remakes are not always better than the original. But that remake is really good. And the original ending was not that terrifying. The original ending was just he realized that the woman had fallen asleep. And he was like, oh no. Like, it was very much more like just him freaking out. But that one is, like, actually so scary. Because, like...
Sound design's pretty cool.
It's my impression of him. And then she's just, like, screaming and crying. She's, like, trying to block her ears because she doesn't want the aliens to get her. They can only get you when you're asleep.
Right.
So, I don't know how long we've been yapping for. I think about an hour.
It's getting close there.
It's getting close there. But
was that the last?
No, we have, like, 3 more.
Yippee!
But you know what? It's okay. We're filling up some content.
Again, shout out if you're a Canadian. I don't know.
Shout the word out. Out!
Shut up. No, I'm just trying to.
Oh, sorry. We have one more left.
Every time you're like, I'm trying to be more funny and not be as like awkward when there's like silence. So I'm just being like, you know, shout out to all my North Koreans out there. Even though you're not watching this, because if you watch this, you're gonna get sent like far away. Far away. You're gonna sit. Just like how. Just like
eternal timeout.
Just like how when you're a kid and your mom says that your cat's going to live away on a farm. If you're from North Korea, you're gonna go live.
Do you have trauma with your mom telling you that your cat? My mom was just looking at me like, "Yeah, Gizmo got hit by a car."
No, my mom said that our cat Gary ran away.
A cat named Gary.
I think he just got hit by a fucking car.
wait. So in real life, you had a Gary that walked around and went, meow.
Yeah.
That's great. I love that so much. The last one that we're going to look at, and then I have a cool idea for what we're going to do. We're going to use more of this book, is The Unstoppable. And The Unstoppable, I feel like it goes hand in hand with Dread. I feel like they're kind of opposites. You know, it says the
Dreadhead is unstoppable. Sorry. I'm trying to be more funny because I realized how, like...
This one's not as funny.
What is it?
This episode.
Oh, I thought you meant the specific topic.
Yeah.
I'm still trying to get
this
funny.
This topic's a real downer. It's about your traumas. Sorry, I just thought of that.
Your cat got hit by a car?
You got a face for radio. I just thought of that saying. I don't know why.
You what?
I just thought of that saying.
You got to face the radio?
You got a face for radio.
Oh. I'm quitting the podcast.
You know what's great is...
Trauma.
You know what's great about having a boyfriend is that I can make mean jokes sometimes, and he still has to be nice to me.
And
right?
Yeah.
Dylan just looked at me with the most disgusted face I think I've ever seen.
You're my least favorite co-host.
Oh, okay, thanks. I'm also your favorite then, because you only have one, unless you have some side hustle that I don't know about.
I got a side co-host.
Okay, anyways.
Never mind. Joe Rogan.
Oh, it says this. By refusing to give viewers catharsis, horror films offer no release from the emotions they stir up. Perhaps the most extreme example is the pivotal scene in Ring where Sadako climbs through the TV to claim her next victim because it makes the screen itself a site of danger. So, like, basically, just being unable to stop it. When the thing that is happening that is bad to our characters just keeps happening and it won't stop.
So, like, again, Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Kind of Ready or Not, because it's just, like, so much is happening.
Texas Chainsaw Massacre just, like, made me feel, like, really, like, uneasy and, like, okay, when's this gonna fucking stop? Especially, like, where they're at the table and, like, the three villains are just, like, laughing and going crazy and stuff.
I love how you said you felt uneased. Whenever I watch Texas Chainsaw Massacre, I feel like I have to take a shower right after. Because I'm just like, this is so gross. That meat is rotting because it's 120 degrees and they had the blackout windows. Like, it's so hot and gross.
Oh, like, in
real life, it was like 120 degrees and they were filming for 20 hours a day.
That's vile.
Because those windows were blacked out and the meat was rotting. They hadn't showered. Like, that movie's...
So they're Discord mods?
Oh, okay. Anyways, The Unstoppable, I feel like another example would be like... What is another example? Would kind of be like Invasion of the Body Snatchers. When, like, people just keep on getting converted and people just keep on getting cloned. And, like, in that ending, she couldn't stop him. She couldn't stop him from, like, screaming. She can't stop it. It's kind of like, like the Dread, where it's like you're unable to stop what's about to come. You know, that's kind of like why I think
this might be a pretty stupid example, and you can laugh at me if you want. But you know the scene from the ending of Five Nights at Freddy's where they're like dragging William Afton away.
I don't feel like that's the Unstoppable.
You don't think so?
I don't really. Maybe. For him. I don't mean because it's like it's not gonna end.
Yeah, and they're just like continuously dragging him away. He's,
I
like,
feel like that's also ties into existential.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's stupid, but that movie lives in my head.
I don't think it's stupid.
It lives in my head rent free.
Well, it's like I said with.
I guess
like body horror and Annihilation, like she couldn't stop the bear from absorbing her. Like
I guess a lot of these also overlap with each other.
Yeah.
Like one scene isn't just gonna be body horror, let's just like rip this guy's head.
It's only gonna be this. Like these are obviously overlapping, and that's
I guess some of it is just like left up to the viewer. I don't know.
Yeah. What I want to do is go through. This book also has, like I mentioned, a lot of movies mentioned, and it rates them based off of the different tactics, like which one's used most. What we're gonna do is I'm gonna go through some of these. Just to fill up some time. Not to fluff it, but just to, like, have some more fun. Because I booked this until 2. Yeah. And I think we got another 20 minutes in us. So.
Yeah.
we're gonna talk about. Let's go to Texas Chainsaw Massacre. That's on page 39. Dylan's on his phone again.
I'm typing out notes.
What are your notes?
I just thought of something for the audio episode.
Oh, that's cool.
What?
Sorry. I thought I brought chips with me.
Oh, I left them in your room.
Dude. Sorry, I was trying to turn the page.
My favorite Metallica song.
It says that the one is most used is grotesque and unstoppable, but all of them are being used.
For
Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Yeah.
Let's look at some of them. If I was a better podcast host, I would have looked at these quotes beforehand. So.
That's okay.
It says the last 30 minutes are so relentless, it feels like we are watching events unfold in an awful alternate universe. That's like so many people have said that when they watch Texas Chainsaw Massacre, it feels like they're watching a snuff film. And I'm just like, no, that's so real. Do you know what a snuff film is?
I don't.
It's like actual videos of actual murder.
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
The one that got me was like, what's that one dude who just gets like blunt force trauma to the head and then stuck in a pike? Yeah, that scene made me like
Kirk.
That felt so real.
That door opens and he just
bonk.
Bam.
I like how much louder yours is than mine.
You go. It did that to him, and then it just like opens it and slams it shut. Sorry, I'm really distracted by the fact that I really have to pee right now.
Bruh.
So, I think that Texas Chainsaw Massacre is enough of the thing we're gonna look at. This book, we might end up going through this book another time, but a lot of these movies are stuff that Dylan hasn't seen.
Yeah.
Like some of them are Hereditary.
I've seen Hereditary.
Well, you've seen Hereditary, but there's like The Entity, and I refuse to watch The Entity. I just refuse to watch it. And you might be asking, what's The Entity? Why do you refuse to watch it? It's about a ghost that continuously rapes a woman.
Oh, God. I don't think we're allowed to say that word on YouTube.
It's a movie it's a ghost that continuously touches a woman. That was really satisfying. But I refuse to watch that movie.
Yeah.
All I've heard about it is that it's really uncomfortable, and I don't want to be.
That doesn't sound fun to watch. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Yeah, I mean that's like a cool idea, but like also I bet it was directed by a man. Actually, this book says the directors. Let's look. If it was directed by a woman, I'll cut up some slack. But if it was directed by a man, I'm never gonna watch it.
I just realized that the mic cables are like orange and blue.
What about it?
It's like the Portal colors, bro.
I don't know what Portal is.
Like the game.
I don't know what Portal is. Now I have the Five Nights at Freddy's theme stuck in my head. No, not that one. No. Oh, okay. It was written, directed, and starred a woman. It was directed by Sidney Fury. It was written by a man. Written by Frank De Felita. Starring Barbara Hershey.
Better than Barbara Twix.
Even Before You Know It is based on a true story.
Oh.
What?
Oh.
Excuse me? I don't understand.
I'm gonna keep it sober with you. I don't want to watch that movie.
I don't want to watch it either. I love that the movie, it says no dead space, no grotesque, no uncanny, unstoppable. Like, duh, it's our word. It's gonna be unstoppable. I'm really close to the mic right now.
Yeah, this audio is gonna be all over the place this time.
It's okay. It's also okay. Like an hour and a half long. It's okay. It's probably an hour long, actually.
Probably at this point, it's probably closer to an hour, yeah.
Yeah. Well.
Shout out. No, what are you saying?
Shout out to what? Out!
Oh my God.
That's my dumbest bit.
Shout out to all my French Guinea people out there. Thanks for supporting the podcast.
Shout out to all the people wearing hokas. If you're wearing hokas right now.
What'd you just call me?
I'll give you a hug.
Shout out to all my people wearing Crocs.
You're not even wearing Crocs right now.
Oh, you're right. Shout out to all my old people out there wearing New Balances.
Shout out to all my old people that are in nursing homes. Shout out to all the old people that don't know what they're watching.
Shout out to President Jimmy Carter right now.
He's having the time of his life. He's just like, I don't know what they're talking about. But that's great. Why did I sound like Bill Clinton? I did not do a podcast with that woman.
I did not have podcast relations with Shelby Whitehead. Please don't spit water over here. Okay. I thought you were going to laugh. That's so loud. Oh, my God.
Anyways.
Shout out.
Out. Sorry. Okay, let's wrap it up. Because we went through the aspects, and I think that talking about one example.
Wrap it up.
wasn't
Okay.
enough.
Just pretend I'm wrapping a Christmas present.
Okay, I think that you tried to do a bit that was visual for an audio only.
Yeah, I forgot this.
platform. He said, "You guys want to check my Renegade? You can't see what I'm doing." Exactly. That's what was wrong with your bit. Anyways,
shout out to.
I'm like out. I'm like so distracted by the fact that I really have to pee.
Okay.
So what I'm gonna do is we're gonna wrap this episode up. Next week we are recording with the president and vice president of Buck Films on campus.
I don't get to be as silly that time.
We're gonna be talking about Wes Craven, specifically the Nightmare franchise, and then they're gonna talk about Buck Films and tell y'all about it. Yeah. This is gonna be on YouTube.
Hopefully.
Hopefully with a video. If not, womp womp. I don't care. Dislike the video then. Actually, don't dislike
it. Report it for harassment. Don't send it to your grandma.
Send it to your dead grandpa.
Oh.
I put it in a flash drive and I bury it.
Joey.
I had to learn how to use a flash drive the other day. I'm 19 and I've never learned how to use a flash drive until
You're
now.
19 and you never learned how to read.
I'm 19 and I never learned how to flash drive. Anyways.
Kid named No. I did so good without making one of those jokes.
Anyways, thanks for listening. We're not going to take 20 minutes to do an outro this time. Thanks for listening.
Shout out to all my crock wearers, my North Koreans, my French Guineans, my crock wearers, my old people wearing new mounts. Did I?
Yeah.
That's like the lesser known like role at a wedding instead of ring bearer, crock wearer. Okay, I'm really hungry, and I also have to pee too.
Yeah.
So
really
thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching.
Like, comment, subscribe, send to your grandma,
Send it to your great aunt. My grandma might be dead.
Send it to your mid aunt. I don't know.
My grandma might be dead, but her sister's alive. So I guess.
Okay, thanks for thanks.
I can send it to her sister.
Thanks for watching. Send this to your local nursing home.
Send this to a family member of your choosing.
Maybe estranged, maybe not.
Send it to some random guy on the street. What? Anyways, I really have to pee. So we'll talk to you next week. Thanks for listening. Bye.
Bye.